Hello, my name is Bailey Hillman. I am with Activity Director Resources. Today's video is going to show you how to communicate with your residents even if you are still wearing a mask. So imagine with me for a moment that you are an individual who is only able to communicate with others by reading their lips. How frustrating would it be during COVID-19 if I covered up my mouth and you were no longer able to read my lips? This is what happens with a lot of our residents in long-term care. We don't realize as healthcare professionals that our residents are actually hearing us because for so long they have been reading our lips. And so we don't realize this until we cover up our lips and all of a sudden they can't hear us. And we're like, wait, what is going on, right? So I want to give you some quick tips on how to overcome this barrier when communicating with your residents. So the first thing I want to bring to your attention is that masks may cause fear with residents. So if I had a mask on, what does this mean, right? This typically means that you have something that I do not want to catch. Therefore, I am masking and protecting myself. You want to make sure that you explain to your residents that it is not them that we are scared of, but that we are trying to protect them from us. Right? We're the ones that are out in the community each day, and we're the ones exposed, and we're bringing it into our buildings. The only way that our residents are going to get exposed at this point, if you're locked down appropriately, then it is from the staff to the residents. So we are simply wearing our mask in order to protect our residents. You might also give them a mask to wear, so help them be part of the club and have them wear a mask and make a fun game out of it so that nobody is frightened when all of the healthcare professionals are walking around wearing masks while they're providing care. The other thing is you want to speak slowly and you want to ensure that you're speaking clearly. A lot of us get in a hurry and we start to speak really fast and it's not very clear. The later that I go, the later it gets in the evenings or the afternoons, the more my Texas accent comes out. I have a really bad Texas draw, right? So it's hard for the residents sometimes to understand if I say oil, I mean oil. So there is, some of us have accents and we can't help it, right? It's just part of us. So we need to be very aware of ourselves and the way that we communicate and slow down and speak clearly. Another thing is you can keep a whiteboard on hand. So if you want to carry around a small whiteboard with a dry erase marker, you can write residents quick notes in order to help them understand the requests that you are making or understand the responses that you're giving to questions that they have posed. So that's a very good tip. It only works though if your residents are still able to read. Just make sure you're writing clearly, large letters so that they're able to see it, and they may even want to write you a note back. So share your whiteboard with them. You don't want to speak in a high-pitched voice, okay? Some of us are blessed with voices like this. I am not. As you can tell, it's not a very good high-pitched voice. And then some of us have lower-pitched voices. You might notice that your residents can understand and hear male staff members better than they can sometimes hear females, and that's because men typically have a lower pitch voice, and so the residents are able to hear it clearer. So if you're a high-pitched voice, you may want to really work to try to get into a lower pitch so the resident is able to hear you. Louder is not always better. I have had a resident once that said, honey, I am not deaf, right? So I'm so used to, as a healthcare worker and working with elders, having to speak in a louder voice. That is not always going to solve your problems. So just because you're masked, getting louder is not always going to make it better. Okay, so if I'm not speaking clearly and slowly, louder is not better. Okay, so let's don't go around yelling at all of our residents during this time. Okay, so speak slow, speak clear, and use written words if you have to. You might also need to note that if residents are having trouble hearing you, they may have refused to wear their hearing aids prior because they were simply reading your lips and they were coping with it. Now may be a time that you want to reintroduce their hearing aids to see if that may help. I'm not saying that it will, but it's always an option. I know now we're really locked down, so going to get a pair of hearing aids or going to get their ears checked out may not be an option in your building, but we can always adapt our communication and try our best to make it the easiest for our residents to hear us, as well as ask questions and get the answers that they may need. I just want to encourage you that you guys are doing a great job out there. Keep it up. I'm excited to give you this webinar series, so continue to look for videos, and we will see you soon. Thank you.